All right, we tried doing this with a different mic and standing up, but it was ass, and now we're going to do it sitting down. What's up, everyone? It's Critical. So that's it. Yeah, see ya. So Update 56 was announced just a few days ago, and I finally had the chance to check out the dev stream. And if I could summarize my takeaway, it would look something like this. But I know you guys want to hear specifics, and we're going to get right into that. We're going to talk about the good and the bad of the update, and we're going to also end the video with how this update's going to affect my regiment in the next war. Sit back, wipe the crust off your monitor, and let's get right into it. We're going to start off with the bad parts of the update, mainly because there are so few of them. The first one being the Argonaut inventory reduced from 7 to 6, and the Drummond and Spitfire had their disable threshold reduced from 55% to 40%. Personally, this isn't actually a bad thing. Now it's more in line with the Argonaut. So for Collies, it's good, and Warrens, it's a L. But that's it for the bad. So let's move straight into the good. Starting off with weapon attachments staying equipped after being holstered. If the devs were listening to my pleas, thank you so much for this change. I don't see how this update can get any better at this point. We have reached the cream of the crop. Surely they can't do anything better than they already have. There's volume sliders for voice chat now. Jesus fucking Christ. I mean, these devs must be humble as fuck to say that this is a small update. I mean, as somebody that's putting out videos for Foxhole, it's always such a pain juggling between the squad chat versus local chat, your music. It's just... we didn't have the tools to make it work. And when I say challenge, it really was impossible. We just didn't have the tools to make it work, and now we finally do. It's gonna be so much easier listening and coordinating in squad chat, but at the same time capturing the funny moments I come across on the battlefield. Another major win being added was the increase of critically wounded soldiers and soldier supplies produced at hospitals. Medics are getting a huge buff here, and honestly, I'll say if you're a new player that's wondering how to have a bigger impact on the front line, you may just want to consider helping out as a medic. All right, so if you haven't realized it yet, just about everything in this update is a huge W from the devs. And I just want to take a second here and sing some praise to them for working hard and getting this stuff out here for us. I mean, we still haven't gotten to some of the larger impactful updates from the recent dev stream, but I just want to emphasize how buck hard I am for these quality of life updates. I mean, flashing new content is always nice and keeps the game fresh and gets new players interested in the game as well, but to keep players coming back war after war, it's these quality of life updates. It's the changes that keep the game performing better and better each war, and that's what gets me interested in Foxhole and coming back war after war. Because if an overall idea for a game is rock solid, but the execution and practicality of the gameplay is shit, then there's no reason to keep joining the fight when there's a sea of other games to choose from. So again, thank you devs. I'm loving everything I'm seeing so far, and as we get through the video, I'm gonna just keep singing your praises. Moving on, we've got improved interaction with triple stack shipping containers. We also got custom colors for liquid containers and resource containers. We can now choose between the colors of yellow and various shades of gray. This next one is huge. We got a significant decrease in retrieval times from the bluefin. As somebody who doesn't really mess around with the larger ships, I do, however, have huge issues with the retrieval times from stockpiles and seaports. So any reduction in the pull time is a net win for me. Next, we have some server stability features, which was kept pretty vague and generic on the dev stream. Specifically, they said that they made the servers more durable against external factors, and will continue to keep a close eye on performance. This was pretty much just a rehash of the previous Discord message on their official Discord. I mean, I'm happy to hear that they're trying to continue to improve the server performance, but we'll just have to wait and see how this all plays out next war. The next minor improvement is to the MG, which allows for automatic fire to resume and queue when holding down the left mouse button. I don't really fuck with the MG since they nerfed the Katara, but it's nice to see some quality of life improvements for players that do like using those weapons. Oh boy, now we're getting into the creamy bits of this update. Facility changes. We're finally getting private facilities, public facilities, but it doesn't end there. We got power and product scaling. We got parallel orders between public and private without additional power drain. We got reservable crates that can now be made from stuff created in the facilities. Liquid transfer stations and resource transfer stations are no longer squad locked. And of course, the removal of the sub-region maintenance modifier.
So can you believe how much I am in heaven? I'm like getting the feeling of coming in the gym. I'm getting the feeling of coming at home. I'm getting the feeling of coming backstage when I pump up, when I pose out in front of 5,000 people. I get the same feeling. So I'm coming day and night.
It was perfect. Perfect. Everything, down to the last minute details.
Facilities have been out for a while, but I didn't think we'd get public and private options anytime soon. So again, bravo to the devs for getting this out for us. The fact that you can have simultaneous orders and it doesn't consume additional power is the icing on the cake for me. I really think the devs understand how much of a chore and grind it is to babysit these facilities. Fun should always be a factor when implementing new content, and brother, the facilities were anything but fun when they first launched. I mean, I'd have more fun pulling a catheter out of my than building another update 1.5 facility. The reservable crates are another beautiful addition here. I'm sure there's going to be discussion about increased hoarding from regiments via stockpiles and seaports, but at the very least, if players have access to the same tools that large regiments have via these public facilities, I can see a balance that looks a lot more fair. And the public and private facilities are accompanied by yet another amazing change: power scaling. I think there's still going to be somewhat of a grind for resources to keep the power plants running efficiently, but at the very least, there won't be as much burnout like we saw in the previous facility. Instead of the power going out for facilities outright, they're going to be running a little bit slower, and it makes it so much less punishable for facility managers. The next facility change I'm sure pissed off more than a few larger regiments. The liquid transfer stations and resource transfer stations will no longer be squad locked. Nothing else to say here aside from I really hope we never have to see 50,000 components sitting in a resource transfer station collecting dust. Okay, we are officially done with facility content. Now we are moving on to new content in the form of two new ships. The first ship being the Warden Blacksteel Light Frigate, and the second being the Colonial Trident Submarine. Starting with the Warden Light Frigate, it comes equipped with two 120mm turrets and two 68mm turrets. It also has quad depth charge launchers and two heavy machine guns. Honestly, when you compare this to the Colonial Destroyer, I gotta say, I don't think Wardens were dealt an L here. There's debate whether the 68 or 40mm are better at sea, but personally, I think when you're going up against armored vehicles like other large ships, the 68mm will actually win out, especially when you have two of them.
I'm joking! Stop! 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 Stop the brake! Stop! Stop! Stop!
Only time will tell which faction will end up having an edge here, but let me know in your comments below what you think. And while you're there, if you're liking the video so far, consider subscribing to the channel. Moving on, let's go over the Colonial sub. The Trident comes equipped with two torpedo tubes and a 120mm deck turret. It also has an ammo bay hatch for field rearming, which we're going to touch on next. With the new Kali sub, we have some changes to the way torpedoes operate. Now, direct hits with torpedoes will cause large ships to roll and kill any crew near the impact site. These torpedoes will cause large leaks that can be partially repaired with metal beams, but will need to be taken to a dry dock for full repairs. Torpedoes cannot be carried and require a wrench to be loaded as well. So with these torpedo changes and the addition of the ammo bay hatch, I think this makes for some interesting gameplay options for the Colonial sub. You don't need to rearm at a dry dock, you just need a crane and some pallets of torpedoes and you can get back into the fight. That's going to make the Colonial sub a true menace to deal with on the high seas. Next, we have some minor changes to the way dry docks operate. You can now submit pallets and shipping containers of crates directly to ships. There's also some visual changes as well. The last major change to Naval is the travel between East and West island hexes. Gone are the days where there were East and West Navy, now there is only one Navy. You can see which hexes lead to their counterpart hex on the other side of the map. I think this is going to open up some really cool attack opportunities for both factions, and it gives a greater emphasis for submarines. And that's pretty much it for the update. Overall, I'm super excited and happy to see all these changes. I'm still buck hard on that bayonet change though. The last item I want to cover is how these changes are going to affect my regiment, the Gremlins. For those of you that are new or may not know, I've stayed away from the new large ships after they were introduced in the Naval update. After I saw the cost associated plus the insane grind from facilities, I didn't want to dedicate my time or anyone else's to grinding for those ships. So I decided to wait for some changes to get implemented, and I can say after some tweaking with the rare mats, plus what we've seen now with the facility updates, I'm feeling confident in building up the Gremlin Armada. I've kept the Gremlins in an inactive status and only recently put them in a soft active status, but with War 112 I'm announcing we are going back to full active status. And this is going to mark a new journey for the Gremlins. We've harassed Warrens on land, but now it's time we take to the seas. Next war we're going to focus on building facilities dedicated for the Colonial submarine. But it won't stop there. We'll be pirates. We'll use any boat at our disposal, and if the opportunity presents itself, we'll take the fight to the coastline. If you're a new or experienced player and want to engage in piracy, pillaging, or other activities that start with the letter P, come join the Gremlins for War 112. I've cultivated a group of degenerates that focus on having fun in Foxhole rather than just meeting quotas or playing the game the right way. If you want to learn the game and make some friends in the process, make sure you click the link to the Discord channel down in the description below. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I'm looking forward to sailing with you in the next war.
Big black meat.
he's jerking me till I ski. He's fucking my bum, he's making me come, he's playing with both of my cheeks. Big black meat, he's jerking me till I ski. He's fucking my bum, he's making me come, he's playing with both of my cheeks. Through the land we go, there's niggas that's fucking my throat, sucking my toes, they're